She stood in a hospital bathroom staring at her reflection, one eye swollen shut, blood on her lip, a broken pregnancy test on the counter showing two pink lines. How does a barista making minimum wage end up here? The answer is simple. She was not really a barista. She was Claire Ashford, heir to an $80 billion empire. And the man who just beat her half to death, he had no idea who she really was. 3 years ago, Claire ran away from wealth and power to find real love. She thought she found it with Derek Coleman. Charming, ambitious, perfect. But perfection was just a mask. And by the time she saw what was underneath, it was too late. This is the story of how a billionaire's daughter lost everything in one night. Her baby, her identity, her belief in love. But it is also the story of how she rose from the ashes and built an empire of revenge so calculated, so complete, that her abusers would spend the rest of their lives paying for what they did. Before we begin, if you enjoy dramatic stories of survival and justice, hit that like button and subscribe. Trust me, you will want to hear how this ends. Now let's go back to where it all started. The bathroom light flickered as I stared at myself in the cracked mirror of Harborview Medical Center. My right eye was swollen completely shut, blood crusted on my split lip. My hands trembled as they gripped the edges of the sink. On the counter beside me lay a broken pregnancy test. Two pink lines, barely visible through the shattered plastic. I whispered to my reflection, "How did I get here?" But I already knew the answer. I had seen every warning sign and made excuses for each one. I had convinced myself that love could fix anything, that if I just tried harder, became better, he would become the man he pretended to be. I was wrong, and it had almost killed me. But I am getting ahead of myself. Let me take you back to where it started. Back to when I still believed in fairy tales. 36 hours earlier, I was just Jenny Mitchell. The alarm on my phone buzzed at 4:30 in the morning. I silenced it quickly, not wanting to wake Derek. He hated being disturbed before his own alarm at 6. I dressed quietly in our small bedroom. Jeans from Target, a coffee-stained t-shirt, sneakers with holes in the soles I kept meaning to replace. I tied my blonde hair into a messy bun and looked at myself in the mirror. Jenny Mitchell stared back at me. Barista. Nobody. Invisible. It was exactly what I wanted. I grabbed my purse and backpack, stepping carefully over the creaky floorboard that Derek still hadn't fixed. The apartment was dark and cold. Our two-bedroom place in Northgate cost $1,650 a month, which Derek said was too much but was all we could afford in Seattle. The walk to Groundwork Coffee took me 20 minutes. I did not mind. The early morning air helped me think. Or rather, it helped me not think about the thing I had been avoiding for 2 weeks. I was late, very late. I unlocked the coffee shop at 5:05 and flipped the sign to open. The smell of fresh ground espresso filled my nose as I started the machines. This had been my routine for 3 years. Open the shop, make coffee, smile at customers who rarely looked at me, go home to Derek, repeat. "Morning, Jenny," Emma said as she arrived at 5:30. She was 22, perpetually cheerful, studying communications at Seattle University. "You look tired. Everything okay?" "Just did not sleep well," I lied. "Derek keeping you up?" She winked. I forced a smile. Something like that. The morning rush came and went. Businessman who never made eye contact. Jogger with her vanilla latte. College student who tipped in quarters. I served them all with practiced efficiency. At 1:45, I checked my phone. No messages from Derek. That was normal. He rarely texted during work hours. I took off my apron and told Emma I was leaving early. "Got an appointment?" I said vaguely. "Feel better," she called after me. I walked 3 blocks to the drugstore, checking over my shoulder twice. Old habits from my previous life. I still looked for surveillance, even though I had convinced myself I had escaped it. Inside the pharmacy, I stood in the feminine products aisle for a full 5 minutes before grabbing the cheapest pregnancy test. $8.99. I paid cash at the self-checkout. Through the window, I noticed a black SUV parked across the street. My stomach tightened. No, I was being paranoid. It was just a car. I hurried back to the coffee shop and locked myself in the single-stall bathroom. My hands shook as I opened the test. I followed the instructions, set the timer on my phone for 3 minutes, and paced the tiny space. The timer went off. I picked up the test. 2 pink lines. I slid down the wall until I was sitting on the cold tile floor. My hand went instinctively to my stomach. Flat, empty, but not for long. 2 thoughts hit me simultaneously. First, I am going to be a mother. Second, Derek is going to lose his mind. I need to tell you how I met Derek. How a billionaire's daughter ended up pregnant and terrified in a coffee shop bathroom. It started 2 years ago at a charity 5K race. I was volunteering at a water station, trying to be normal, trying to prove to myself that I could exist without my father's name, without the Ashford empire hovering over every interaction. Derek ran past, then circled back. He had a charming smile and bright eyes. "Best water station on the course," he said, slightly out of breath. "What's your secret?" I laughed. "It is just water." "No, it is you." He extended his hand. "I am Derek." I shook it. His grip was firm, confident. Jenny. Jenny, I am going to remember that name." He pursued me relentlessly after that. Flowers delivered to the coffee shop. Notes written on my to-go cups. He made me feel seen. Not as Claire Ashford, heir to an $80 billion construction empire. Just as me. 3 months in, I saw the first red flag. We were driving home from dinner when another car cut us off. Derek exploded. He screamed obscenities, laid on the horn, and chased the car for 3 blocks while I gripped the door handle in terror. Then he stopped. Just like that, he was calm again. "Sorry, babe," he said casually. "I just hate bad drivers." I told myself it was passion, intensity. I thought it meant he cared deeply about things. I was an idiot. 6 months in, I saw a text on his phone while we watched TV. It was from someone named Madison. The message said, "Last night was exactly what I needed," followed by a suggestive emoji. "Who is Madison?" I asked. Derek grabbed his phone. "A coworker. We went out for drinks with the team." "I told you about that." "You did not mention—" "Why are you going through my phone? Don't you trust me?" I was not going through it. It just lit up. This is what ruins relationships, Jenny. Paranoia. He made me feel like I was the problem. So I apologized. 8 months in, Derek proposed. At his company party, in front of everyone. He got on one knee while his coworkers cheered and filmed on their phones. "Jenny Mitchell, will you marry me?" I froze. Every eye in the room was on me. Phones recording. I could not say no without humiliating him in front of his entire office. "Yes," I whispered. Everyone applauded. Madison stood in the back, her face carefully neutral, but her eyes cold. We got married at the courthouse 10 months after we met. I wore an $89 sundress from Target. Derek wore an ill-fitting suit. Only 4 people attended. Emma from the coffee shop, Derek's mother Brenda, a judge, and the ghost of Claire Ashford, watching from somewhere deep inside me and screaming that I was making a mistake. I cried at my wedding. Everyone thought it was a joy. It was not. I sat on the bathroom floor for another 10 minutes before I wrapped the test in paper towels and put it in my purse. I washed my face, fixed my hair, and looked at myself in the mirror. "You can do this," I told my reflection. "Tell him tonight. He will be surprised, but he will come around. People do this every day." I almost believed it. I left the coffee shop and walked the 15 blocks home. I stopped at the corner store and used $23 in tip money to buy ingredients for Derek's favorite meal. Steak, baked potatoes, Caesar salad. I also bought a small stuffed teddy bear for $7.99. I would give it to him after dinner. A gentle way to share the news. As I walked, I practiced my speech. "Derek, I have amazing news. We are going to be parents. I know it is sooner than we planned, but I think this could be wonderful. You are going to be an incredible father." I arrived home at 3:45. The apartment was empty. Derek would not be home until at least 6. I started cooking. I set the table with our mismatched plates and dollar store candles. I wrapped the teddy bear in newspaper comics because I could not afford wrapping paper. 5 o'clock passed, then 6. At 6:15, I texted him. "Hey babe, when are you home? Made your favorite." The message showed as read. He did not respond. At 7 o'clock, the food was getting cold. I covered everything with foil and sat on the couch staring at my phone. 7:45. I heard keys in the lock, but I also heard something else. Female laughter. My stomach dropped. The door opened and Derek walked in. He was slightly drunk. His tie was loose and his face flushed. Madison was with him. She wore his college football hoodie. The sacred one I had never been allowed to touch. "Oh," I said, standing up slowly. "Hi, I did not know we were having company." Derek barely glanced at me. He tossed his jacket on the couch. "Madison's laptop died. She is using mine to finish the quarterly report." Madison moved toward me with exaggerated enthusiasm. "Oh my God, you must be Jenny. Derek talks about you all the time." She tried to hug me. She smelled like his cologne. I stepped back. "It is nice to finally meet you. Derek has mentioned you." Madison noticed the set table and candles. Her eyes lit up with something that looked like pity mixed with triumph. "Oh, babe, did you make dinner? That is so sweet. But we already ate. We went to that new steakhouse on Aurora, the one with the $80 ribeyes." She looked at my grocery store steaks like they were roadkill. "You went to dinner?" I turned to Derek. "I have been texting you for 2 hours. Derek checked his phone with obvious annoyance. My phone was on silent. We were celebrating. Madison got promoted to senior associate today. Madison kicked off her heels and sat on our couch. She tucked her legs under her like she lived there. "It is not a big deal, just more responsibility, same pay for now. But Derek says if I kill it this quarter, I am looking at sales manager by spring." "Can I talk to you, Bea?" I asked Derek. "In the bedroom?" "Whatever you need to say, you can say in front of Madison. We work together 12 hours a day. She is basically family." Madison smirked into her wine glass. Something inside me snapped. I had swallowed my pride, my suspicions, my fears for months. But standing there, watching my husband dismiss me while his mistress wore his clothes in our apartment, I could not do it anymore. "Okay, fine." My voice came out steadier than I felt. "I am pregnant." Complete silence. Derek's face went from confusion to cold rage in less than 3 seconds. "What?" "I took a test today. We are having a baby. I thought you would be happy." Derek laughed. It was an ugly sound. "Happy? You thought? Did it occur to you to ask me first?" "Ask you? It is not exactly something you planned to the—" "Oh, it is planned, all right. You did this on purpose." "What? No, poking holes in condoms. Forgetting your pill. Classic trap move, Jenny." Madison stood up, playing the role of concerned friend. "Derek, hey, calm down. She probably did not mean—" I turned on her. "Get out of my house." "Actually, Derek invited me. Maybe you should—" Derek stepped between us. "Both of you, shut up. I need to think." But he did not think. He exploded. "This is the last thing we need right now. Do you have any idea what a baby costs? Daycare is $2,000 a month. Diapers, formula, doctor visits. We can barely afford this apartment. We will figure it out. Couples do it all. We are not couples, Jenny. We are me dragging your dead weight. I pay the bills." I put food on the table. "You make, what, $2,000 a month slinging coffee?" Tears started down my face. "That is not fair. I contribute—" "Your tips?" He made air quotes. "Your tips paid for tonight's dinner. Congratulations. You funded one meal. I need a wife who is a partner, not a dependent." Madison touched Derek's arm gently. "Maybe we should give you two some space." "No, stay." Derek looked at Madison like she was oxygen. "You understand ambition. You get that life is about moving up, not getting dragged down." That was when I knew for certain. The texts, the late nights, the way she wore his hoodie like a trophy. They were sleeping together, and I had been too naive to see it. Derek grabbed my arm hard enough to leave marks. "Bedroom, now." "Do not touch me." He shoved me toward the hallway. "I said now." Madison called out, "Derek, do not do anything crazy." He pushed me into our bedroom and followed me in. His face was twisted with rage I had never seen before. "Here is what is going to happen," he said. "Tomorrow morning you are going to that clinic on Aurora Avenue. They do procedures for $600. I will pay, then we never speak of this again." "You want me to get an abortion?" I want you to stop ruining my life. No, this is my baby. Our baby. There is no our. You got yourself into this. You can get yourself out. I am keeping it. Derek's voice went cold and calm. Somehow that was more terrifying than the yelling. Then you are keeping it without me. He left the bedroom and slammed the door behind him. Click. The lock engaged. I stared at the door. The lock was on the outside. Derek had installed it 6 months ago, claiming it was for privacy when we had guests. I had thought it was strange, but let it go. Now I was trapped. I pounded on the door. Derek, open this door. Through the thin walls, I heard voices in the living room. Derek, this ruins everything. Madison, not necessarily, not if she handles it. Derek, handles it? Madison, the clinic. You put it in the right terms, she will do it. She is weak, she will cave. Derek, and if she does not? Madison paused. Then you make a choice, her or your future. Long silence. Derek, well, let me think. I slid down the door and wrapped my arms around my stomach. I am so sorry, baby, I whispered. I am so sorry. I had read about women in abusive relationships, how they stayed, how they made excuses. I always thought it would be simple. Just leave, but it is never simple. By the time you realize you are in danger, they have already taken everything. Your money, your friends, your options. You are not a person anymore. You are a problem they need to solve. Hours passed, I could hear them out there, talking, laughing, the television. At 11:47, my phone battery was at 18%. At 2 in the morning, the door finally unlocked. Derek entered. Madison was gone. He sat on the edge of the bed without looking at me. His voice was quiet and measured. I am giving you a choice. Tomorrow, I will drive you to the clinic. I will pay. We go back to normal. And if I refuse? He finally looked at me. Then pack your things and be gone by the time I get home from work. Derek, please. I am being generous, Jenny. Most guys would have just left. I am giving you an option. To kill my baby. To save our marriage. What marriage? You are sleeping with Madison. He stood. His face was like stone. That is what happens when your wife stops being a wife. He left. This time he did not lock the door. I waited until I heard him snoring in the guest room. Then I quietly packed a backpack. Clothes, toiletries, the prenatal vitamins I had bought weeks ago, hoping. My purse contained $47 in tips, no credit cards. Derek had taken those months ago to help with budgeting, he said. My phone was at 8% battery. Then I remembered. 3 years ago, when I first ran away from my father's empire, I had sewn a secret pocket inside my purse lining. Inside was a Nokia burner phone. Ancient, but it had one number saved. Home. I found the pocket and pulled out the phone. I flipped it open. The screen stayed black. Dead. After 3 years of no use, the battery had finally given out. I stared at the useless phone in my hand. For 3 years, I had believed I had an escape route, a lifeline. But when I needed it most, it was just a piece of plastic. I was truly alone. At 4:30 in the morning, I slipped out of the apartment. Rain was starting. I had no umbrella. My backpack was heavy on my shoulders. My plan was simple. Take the first bus downtown at 5. Go to the women's shelter I had looked up weeks ago, just in case. Tomorrow, pawn my wedding ring. Maybe get $300. Find a room to rent somewhere. Start over. I had left an empire to live like this. Broke, scared, running through rain at 4:30 in the morning with everything I owned in a backpack. My father always said I was naive. He was right, but I would rather be naive than cruel. At least that is what I told myself. 3 blocks from the bus stop, I saw headlights behind me. I glanced back. Derek's truck. Black Ford F-150. I walked faster. Jenny, babe, wait, he called out the window. I did not stop. Come on, do not be dramatic. Let's talk about this. I have nothing to say to you. He parked the truck and got out. Jenny, I was drunk. I did not mean it. Come home. No, do not make me chase you. I broke into a run. I cut through an alley, a shortcut to the bus stop. Bad decision. Derek followed on foot. He was faster than me. He caught me halfway through. He grabbed my shoulder and spun me around. When I am talking to you, you listen. Get away from me. I tried to pull away. That was when Derek hit me for the first time. His open hand connected with my face so hard I saw stars. I stumbled and fell against the dumpster. My backpack cushioned some of the impact. Derek stood over me, breathing hard. "You are not keeping that baby. You are not trapping me. You are not ruining my life." I curled on the ground, protecting my stomach with both hands. "Please, Derek, please do not." He kicked me, once, aimed at my abdomen. I screamed. He kicked again, harder. Should have just gone to the clinic. Pain exploded through me. I could not breathe. I felt wetness between my legs. Blood or urine, I did not know. Derek pulled his boot back for another kick. Then everything went white. Blinding headlights flooded the alley. A black SUV, tires screeched, doors slammed open. A man's voice commanding in deadly calm, "Step away from her, now." Derek turned, confused. "Who are you?" A second agent tackled Derek, slammed him face down on the wet pavement. Derek's cheeks scraped against concrete. The first man knelt beside me. He was tall, black, wearing an expensive suit. His voice gentled. "Miss Ashford, can you hear me? Stay with me. Ambulance is 2 minutes out." "Ashford?" Derek's voice was muffled against the ground. "What? Her name is Jenny Mitchell." The man, Marcus, spoke to his team. "Cuff him. Read him his rights." Wait. Who is she?" The second agent tightened the handcuffs. "Someone way out of your league." The ambulance arrived. Paramedics stabilized me on a gurney. Marcus rode with me. Derek was put in a separate police vehicle. In the ambulance, a paramedic asked, "Ma'am, are you pregnant?" 8 weeks, I managed through tears. "We are taking you to Harborview. They have the best trauma unit in the city." "Hold on." I looked at Marcus. "How did you know?" "I have always known where you were, Miss Ashford. Your father's orders." "For how long?" "We lost you for 2 years. But 6 months ago, you registered your marriage license. Public record. After that, we have been 20 minutes away, sometimes closer." "Why did not you stop him sooner?" Marcus looked away. "Your father's orders were to observe only until you called for help. I am sorry." I had thought I was free, that I had outsmarted my father's surveillance. But he had found me. He had been watching. And he had let this happen, all to teach me a lesson, that I could not survive without him. In that moment, bleeding in the back of an ambulance, I hated my father almost as much as I hated my husband. Harborview Medical Center was chaos. Bright lights, doctors and nurses swarming around me. Marcus stood in the corner, phone pressed to his ear, calling my father, I assumed. A doctor approached, mid-40s, efficient movements, kind eyes. "Claire, I am Dr. Sarah Brennan. We are going to do an ultrasound to check on your baby, okay? Is it alive? Let's look first." The ultrasound technician spread cold gel on my abdomen, moved the wand, searched. The screen showed grainy gray images that meant nothing to me. The technician's face stayed carefully neutral. Then I saw it, a tiny flicker. "There," the tech said, "fetal heartbeat." I sobbed with relief. "It is alive?" Dr. Brennan smiled gently. "Right now, yes. The heart rate is lower than ideal, 118 beats per minute. We like to see 140 to 160 at 8 weeks, but it is fighting." "What does that mean?" "It means we watch you very carefully. The trauma caused bleeding. We need to see if it progresses or stops. For now, we are admitting you for observation." The baby was alive. Against all odds, my baby was alive. I thought maybe God or the universe or whatever was giving me a second chance. I should have known better. Hope is the cruelest thing you can give someone right before you take everything away. Meanwhile, in the emergency room waiting area, Derek sat handcuffed to a chair. A police officer stood guard. His right hand was bandaged. His face had road rash from being tackled. Madison arrived at 8 in the morning. She approached the officer. "Excuse me, I am looking for Derek Coleman. I heard he was brought here?" "Who are you?" "His girlfriend, well, his co-worker. Is he okay?" "He is under arrest, ma'am." Madison put her hand to her mouth. "Arrest? For what?" "Assault, domestic violence, attempted murder of an unborn child." "Oh my God, there must be some mistake." Derek would never. A detective approached, Latina, 50s, the look of someone who had seen everything twice. Miss Pierce, Madison Pierce, the detective wrote in her notepad. In your relationship to Mr. Coleman? We work together. Just co-workers? Madison hesitated. We are close friends. How close? Madison realized she was being investigated. I want to speak to a lawyer. That is your right, but for the record, Miss Pierce, we have text messages between you and Mr. Coleman discussing handling his wife's pregnancy. We will be in touch. Madison's face went pale. I had been moved to a private room. Semi-private, actually, but nice. Marcus had arranged it. The room was quiet. Monitors beeped steadily. Marcus entered. Your father is on his way. Private jet from Tokyo. He will be here in 4 hours. I looked at the ceiling. I do not want to see him. I do not think that is negotiable. He let this happen, Marcus. You said it yourself. He told you not to intervene. Marcus sat in the chair beside my bed. He wanted you to come home on your own. He thought if he forced you, you would just run again. So he let me get beaten? He did not know it would escalate like this. None of us did. You should have. Marcus had no argument. Long silence. How long have you known about Derek? About Madison? We knew about the affair for 3 months. We knew he was controlling, but on paper, there was no violence, no police reports, no hospital visits, until today. So you all just watched me make a mistake. We watched you try to live your life. And look how that turned out. At 2 in the afternoon, cramping began, severe, sudden. I pressed the call button. Nurse, nurse! A nurse rushed in. What is wrong? Something is wrong. It hurts. It hurts so much. She checked the monitors. Her face changed. I am paging Dr. Brennan. Stay calm. Dr. Brennan arrived within minutes. She examined me, did a quick ultrasound. Is the baby okay? Please, is the baby okay? Dr. Brennan turned the monitor so I could see it. On the screen, the flicker was gone. Silent. Still. I am so sorry, Claire. There is no heartbeat. I did not scream. I just broke. Silent tears turned into heaving sobs. Marcus heard from outside and rushed back in. He saw the screen. He understood immediately. But it was alive, I said to Dr. Brennan. You said it was fighting. Sometimes, even when they fight, the damage is too severe. The trauma caused placental abruption. The placenta separated from your uterine wall. Without that connection, the fetus could not survive. How long? Based on tissue breakdown, I would estimate the separation happened gradually over the past 6 to 8 hours. The assault accelerated an inevitable outcome. I looked at Marcus. He killed my baby. Yes. Not it might have. He did. Yes. Something hardened in my eyes. Good. I want him to know that. I want him to know exactly what he did. Dr. Brennan explained that I needed a procedure called dilation and curettage to remove the remaining tissue. Do it now, I said flatly. We can do it tomorrow if you need time. Now, I want it out of me now. I want every trace of him out of me. At 7 that evening, I woke from anesthesia. Marcus was there. So was someone else. Robert James Ashford, my father. 63 years old, silver hair, a $15,000 suit wrinkled from travel. He looked older than I remembered. Get out, I said. Claire, I said get out. He did not move. I will not apologize for the method, but I will say I am sorry you were hurt. Sorry I was hurt. I lost my baby. I know. You do not know. You do not know anything. You let this happen. You chose to let this happen. To prove what? That I cannot survive without you? My father's voice was quiet. To prove you would call when you needed me. I should not have to call. You are my father. You should have protected me. You are right. I was surprised by the admission. When your mother died giving birth to you, I promised myself I would keep you safe. But I confused safe with controlled. I built you a cage and called it protection. You were right to run. You were right to want something real. I just hoped you would realize on your own that the world outside the cage was dangerous. I did not think. He stopped. Did not think what? That I would lose you before you figured it out. Long silence. What happens now? That is up to you. I cannot go back to being Claire Ashford. That girl was weak. She ran away from a boardroom because she was scared. And Jenny Mitchell? Jenny Mitchell is dead. He killed her too. Then who are you, Al? I looked him in the eye. I do not know yet, but whoever she is going to make them pay. My father smiled, just slightly. Then let's go to work. The next morning, I woke in a penthouse-level recovery suite. Floor-to-ceiling windows overlooked Elliott Bay. It did not feel like a hospital. It felt like a luxury hotel. My father's doing, obviously. The physical pain was manageable with medication. The emotional pain was absolute. I lay in bed, staring at the ceiling, hand on my flat stomach. Marcus entered. Morning, how are you feeling? I laughed hollowly. How do you think? Stupid question. Sorry. Where is my father? Meeting with hospital administrators, making sure you get the best care. Meaning throwing money at the problem. It is what he knows. Has Derek been charged? Assault in the second degree, domestic violence enhancement, reckless endangerment of an unborn child. Sentence? His public defender is pushing for a plea deal, probation, maybe county jail. He will claim it was a one-time incident, heat of passion. I sat up, ignoring the pain. Probation? He killed my baby and he gets probation? The law is not always just, Miss Ashford. Then forget the law, I want him destroyed. Your father anticipated that response. He is bringing in Diane Rothman. Who? The best divorce attorney on the West Coast. Also handles creative civil litigation. I do not want a divorce lawyer. I want... Miss Ashford, the criminal justice system will give you maybe 5 years if you are lucky. Miss Rothman will give you his life. There is a difference. At 11, Diane Rothman arrived. 52 years old, power suit, carrying 3 bankers' boxes. She had the energy of someone who took no prisoners. Claire Ashford, I am Diane Rothman. Your father hired me to bury your ex-husband. Let's talk strategy. I was surprised by her directness. He is not my ex. We are still married. Not for long. I have already filed. Washington is a no-fault state, but we are claiming irretrievable breakdown due to domestic violence. You will be legally single in 90 days. That fast? Money talks. Judges, listen. Now let's discuss what you actually want. Revenge comes in 3 flavors. She opened the boxes. Box 1 was labeled criminal. The DA is prosecuting, but Derek's lawyer is competent. Best case, he gets 5 to 10 years. Worst case, plea deal, probation, anger management classes. That is not enough. Agreed. Next. Box 2 was labeled civil. We sue him for emotional distress, medical expenses, loss of consortium, and wrongful death of fetus. We will ask for $5 million. He does not have $5 million. Exactly. We will get a judgment, then garnish his wages for the rest of his life. Every paycheck, he will see your name taking 25%. Forever. Better, but still not enough, Diane smiled. Which brings us to Box 3. Box 3 was labeled personal destruction. This is where we get creative. We do not just take his money. We take his reputation, his mother's house, his mistress, his dignity. We make him a ghost, someone people cross the street to avoid. How? Your father owns or has leverage over half the construction companies in this state. Derek works in construction supply. We make him unemployable. We sue Madison as a co-conspirator. We leak the story to media. We make sure everyone knows Derek Coleman beats pregnant women. And Madison? She texted Derek about handling your pregnancy. That is conspiracy to commit assault. Maybe even attempted forced abortion, depending how aggressive the DA wants to be. At minimum, she loses her job, faces civil liability, and becomes Seattle's most hated woman. Good. There is more. Derek's mother, Brenda. She was in your apartment the night Derek locked you in the bedroom, right? How did you know that? I have the police report. Brenda told officers boys will be boys when they interviewed her. She is an accessory. We can go after her too. She has nothing. She has a house, Renton, Washington, paid off, worth maybe $400,000. Derek used it as collateral for a loan last year. I pulled the records. We can force foreclosure. I hesitated. That feels cruel. You want revenge or you want to be nice? You cannot have both. I took a breath. Do it. That afternoon I was alone, phone buzzing with messages. People I had not spoken to in 3 years suddenly reaching out. News had spread. The Ashford heiress found. One message from an unknown number caught my eye. Jenny, it is Emma from the coffee shop. I saw the news. I am so sorry. If you need anything, I am here. I read it, then deleted it. Emma was the closest thing I had to a friend in my Jenny life, but I could not go back. Jenny Mitchell was a fantasy, a girl who thought she could escape her name by changing a idiot. But you cannot escape blood. You cannot escape money. You cannot escape who you really are. And I was finally ready to stop trying. At 5 in the evening, everything changed again. I was resting when the alarms went off. Security guards rushed past my door. Marcus burst in, weapon drawn. What is happening? I asked. Stay in bed, lock the door behind me. Marcus, he was already gone. I locked the door and pressed my ear against it. Voices, shouting. A man's voice I did not recognize. Then silence. Marcus knocked. Miss Ashford, it is me. You can open up. I unlocked the door. Marcus stood there with 2 other security personnel. They were holding a man, mid-30s, tattooed arms, trucker cap. Who is that? I asked. Tyler Pierce, Madison's brother. He got past the nurse's station by claiming to be family. He made it to your room. Tyler struggled against his restraints. I just wanted her to sign something. I was not going to hurt her. Marcus held up a piece of paper. It was handwritten, a statement saying the assault was an accident and that I did not want to press charges. He tried to force you to sign this, Marcus said. I stared at Tyler. Madison sent you. My sister's life is ruined because of you, Tyler shouted. Derek's in jail because of you. You need to fix this. Marcus tightened his grip. Call Seattle PD. Attempted assault. Attempted coercion. Tyler's face went pale. No, wait, I did not mean... Your sister sent you. We have the text messages. She is going down with you. Detective Ramirez arrived within the hour. She interviewed me while Tyler was taken away in handcuffs. Miss Ashford, can you describe what happened? I gave my statement. Your security footage shows Madison Pierce in the lobby at 5 this afternoon with Mr. Pierce. She is an accessory. We are picking her up now. 2 catastrophes in 2 days. The miscarriage. Now this attempted intimidation. But I was not broken. I was angry. At 10 that night, everyone had left. I was alone to swim. The weight of 48 hours crashed down on me all at once. I walked to the window. 10th floor. I opened it slightly. An alarm sounded immediately. Marcus burst in within 30 seconds. He saw me at the window. Miss Ashford, step away from the window. I did not move. I do not fit anywhere, Marcus. Jenny Mitchell is dead. Claire Ashford was a coward who ran away. I do not know who I am supposed to be anymore. Marcus slowly approached. He sat on the windowsill, blocking my exit. 3 years ago, your father gave me an assignment. Find my daughter, watch her, keep her safe. I failed the 3rd part. I watched you walk into a nightmare, and I did not stop it. He told you not to. Does not matter. I failed. But you know what I learned watching you these past 3 years? That I am an idiot who makes terrible choices. That you are a survivor. You left a fortune to find authenticity. You worked a job you were overqualified for because you wanted to be normal. You endured a man you should have left because you believed in second chances. You protected your baby until the very end. Those are not the choices of a coward. Those are the choices of someone who refuses to give up on hope. Hope got me beaten half to death. No, hope kept you alive, and it is going to keep you alive now. Tears streamed down my face. I do not want hope. I want revenge. Then let's make a plan. Late that night, my father, Marcus, and I sat around the hospital room like a war council. I was exhausted. Marcus looked protective. My father stood by the window, hands behind his back. The criminal charges are proceeding, my father said. Derek will likely plea out. 5 years, maybe 7, if the judge is tough. Not enough. Agreed, which is why we are pursuing civil and personal destruction simultaneously. I want more than money. I want him to feel what I felt. Which is? I thought for a moment. Powerless, trapped, watching everything you love disappear and being unable to stop it. My father smiled slightly. That we can do. Diane had laid out her plan in detail. Phase 1, professional annihilation. My father would personally call the CEO of Bennett Construction Supply. Ashford Industries would threaten to pull their $40 million annual contract. The CEO would fire both Derek and Madison within 24 hours. Then my father would blacklist them across the entire industry. Neither could find work in Seattle construction. Phase 2, financial ruin. Sue Derek for $5 million for emotional distress and wrongful death. Sue Madison for $2 million for conspiracy and aiding and abetting. Neither could pay, but the judgments would follow them forever. Garnish wages, seize assets, destroy credit. Brenda's house would be foreclosed because Derek had used it as loan collateral. Phase 3, social destruction. Leak the story to the Seattle Times with my permission. Details about the pregnancy, the assault, the miscarriage, Madison's role. Public reaction would be volcanic. Derek and Madison would become pariahs. Phase 4, the personal touch. This was my addition. I wanted Derek to do community service at this hospital, specifically cleaning the maternity ward. Every day he would see what he destroyed. Every baby he saw would remind him of the one he killed. My father looked at me. That is cruel. Good. After the meeting, I sat alone. I looked at my reflection in the bathroom mirror. Bruises on my face were yellowing. My stomach was flat. My baby was gone. I touched the glass. They say what does not kill you makes you stronger. That is a lie. What does not kill you just makes you more careful about who you trust. I had lost my baby. I had lost my innocence. I had lost my belief that love could conquer anything. All I had left was rage, and I was going to turn that rage into fuel. Derek thought he had broken me, but all he had done was show me who I really was. Not the naive girl who ran away from her father's empire. Not the barista who thought she could be normal. I was Claire Elizabeth Ashford, and I was about to remind the world why that name meant something. Week 1, the depression. My father moved me to his penthouse downtown after I was discharged from the hospital. 5,000 square feet on the 40th floor, floor-to-ceiling windows with views of Puget Sound, minimalist design, cold and empty. I did not leave my bedroom for 3 days. I barely ate. I stared at the ceiling for hours. Marcus checked on me daily. I did not respond. On day 3, my father visited. He entered my bedroom without knocking. You need to get up. I did not look at him. Why? Because lying in bed feeling sorry for yourself will not change anything. Fuck you. He looked surprised. I had never cursed at him before. Excuse me? You heard me. Get out. No. I finally looked at him. I said, get out. I am not leaving until you get out of that bed. Why do you care? You did not care when he was beating me? His voice went tight. You want to be angry? Be angry. You want to hate me? Hate me. But do not lie there and let him win. He already won. He took everything. He took one thing. You still have your life. You still have your mind. You still have your name. Use them. How? He left a folder on my nightstand. When you are ready to stop feeling and start fighting, read that. He left. Week 2, the awakening. On day 8, I finally opened the folder. Inside were crime scene photos from the alley. My blood on pavement. Measurements, angles, evidence markers. Also, surveillance photos of Derek and Madison together from months ago. Them kissing in his truck, entering a hotel together, laughing at a bar while I worked late shifts. I stared at the photos. Something hardened inside me. I got out of bed. I went to the bathroom. Looked at myself. Hair unwashed for a week. Face gaunt, eyes hollow. No more, I said to my reflection. On day 10, Diane Rothman arrived by appointment. Your father says you are ready to talk strategy. I do not know if I am ready. Then I am wasting my time. She stood to leave. Wait, I paused. I want them to hurt. She sat back down. Hurt how? The way I hurt, every single day, for the rest of their lives. She smiled slowly. Now we are talking. Week 3, the training begins. Lesson 1, burying emotion. We sat in Diane's office downtown. Revenge is a cold dish, she said. You cannot let them see you cry. Cannot let them see you angry. You need a face of stone. She showed me the ultrasound photo, the one with no heartbeat. My face crumpled. Tears started. No, again. She showed me the photo again. I bit my lip. Tears filled my eyes but did not fall. Better, again. Third time, I looked at the photo. My face stayed completely neutral. Good. That is the face you show them. Emotion is ammunition. Bury it. Lesson 2, power dynamics. Derek controlled you financially, emotionally, physically. Why did you let him? I thought I loved him. Wrong. You thought you deserved it. Deep down, you believed you were not worthy of real love. That is why you picked him. He confirmed what you already thought about yourself. I felt stung. That is not. It is the truth. Your father controlled you, so you found a man who would control you differently. You traded one cage for another. So what? I am supposed to never trust anyone again? You were supposed to trust yourself. Your instincts told you Derek was dangerous. You ignored them. Your instincts told you Madison was a threat. You ignored them. You need to start listening. Lesson 3, mock interrogation. We moved to a conference room. Diane played Derek's defense attorney. Mrs. Ashford, is it not true that you trapped my client with this pregnancy? I hesitated. No, Wrong. Never hesitate. Never defend. You do not owe them explanations. Again. Mrs. Ashford, is it not true you trapped my client with his pregnancy? No. But you knew he did not want children. I am not answering questions about my reproductive choices. Better, but your voice shook. Again. Week 4, corporate warfare lesson. 4, leveraging power. My father, Diane, and I sat in the Ashford Industries boardroom. Financial documents spread across the table. Derek works for Bennett Construction Supply, Diane explained. Ashford Industries does $40 million a year with Bennett. That is 15% of Bennett's revenue. If Ashford pulls its contracts, Bennett goes bankrupt. That is leverage. So we threaten them? No, we do not threaten. Threats are for people with weak positions. We simply inform them of reality. My father looked at me. You make the call. Me? It is your revenge. You do the work. I called Bennett Construction CEO Jim Harrison directly. Ashford Industries, this is Jim Harrison. My voice was steady. Mr. Harrison, this is Claire Ashford. He immediately sounded nervous. Miss Ashford, I heard about what happened. I am so terribly sorry. I am calling about Derek Coleman. Right. He has been suspended pending investigation. I am not calling to discuss his employment status with you. I am informing you that Ashford Industries will be terminating our contracts with Bennett Construction Supply, effective immediately, unless Mr. Coleman and Madison Pierce are terminated within 24 hours. Miss Ashford, I understand your anger, but I cannot just fire employees without cause. Mr. Harrison, I am not asking. If Derek Coleman is on your payroll tomorrow at this time, you will never work with Ashford Industries again. And I will make sure every contractor in the Pacific Northwest knows why. You have until 5 p.m. today. I hung up. My hands were shaking. Diane slow clapped. That is my girl. My father looked at me with new respect. Week 5, the final lesson, lesson 5. Knowing when to stop. Revenge has a stopping point, Diane said. If you go too far, you become the villain. You need to know your line. What is my line? That is for you to decide, but remember the goal is not to become him. The goal is to make sure he cannot hurt anyone else. What if I want him to suffer? Then make him suffer legally. Make him suffer ethically, but do not lose yourself in the process. How do I know if I am losing myself? If you start enjoying it, you have gone too far. At the end of week 5, I looked in the mirror. My hair was cut into a sharp bob. I wore a tailored Alexander McQueen suit. My posture was straight, chin up, eyes cold. I did not recognize myself. That was the point. 5 weeks ago, I wanted to die. Today, I wanted to fight. Diane had taught me that power is not about money. It is about control. It is about making people afraid to cross you. Derek had power over me because I gave it to him, but I was taking it back. Every lesson, every strategy session, every mock interrogation, they were building armor, and by the time I was done, I would be untouchable. 6 months after the assault, Derek's world was collapsing piece by piece. Phase 1, Timon, professional annihilation. Derek was called to the HR office at Bennett Construction on a Tuesday morning. Jim Harrison, the CEO, was there personally. Derek, we are terminating your employment effective immediately. Derek looked confused. What? Why? Due to ongoing criminal investigation and reputational concerns. You cannot do this. I have rights. You are an at-will employee. Security will escort you out. 2 hours later, Madison was called to the same office. Madison, your employment is terminated. She stood up. This is about Derek, about that woman. This is illegal. I will sue for wrongful termination. Harrison remained calm. Feel free. Our attorneys are very expensive and very good. Madison realized she was powerless. You are making a mistake. The mistake was hiring either of you. Leave. Over the next 2 months, Derek and Madison job hunted. Derek went to interview after interview. Every time, the same result. Interview 1, we will be in touch. They never called back. Interview 2, the interviewer Googled him mid-conversation. His face changed. Actually, we have filled the position. Interview 3, I am sorry we cannot work with you. Why not? Let's just say your references were not great. By month 2, Derek sat in Madison's studio apartment. She was packing boxes. Eviction notice on the door. It is her, Derek said. It is Claire. She is blacklisting us. How? She is just one person. She is not just one person. She is in Ashford. They own half the construction industry in Washington. So we move. Oregon, Idaho, anywhere. And do what? I have applied to 47 jobs. 47. Not one callback. Phase 2, financial ruin. Month 3, Derek's apartment had an eviction notice. He could not pay rent. No income for 3 months. Savings depleted. Credit cards maxed. His mother Brenda called, crying him, Derek, the bank called. They are foreclosing on my house. What? How? They said you took out a second mortgage last year. I never signed anything. Derek went silent. I forged your signature. I needed money for the engagement ring. You what? Mom, I will fix it. How? You do not have a job. I am losing my house because of you. She hung up. Madison's situation was worse. She could not afford $1,800 a month for her Capitol Hill studio on zero income. She had to move back to Yakima, her hometown, the place she had spent 5 years trying to escape. She called Derek while packing. I am moving back home, to my parents. Madison, do not, just do not. This is your fault, all of it. My fault? You are the one who told me to. I did not tell you to beat her. I did not tell you to kick a pregnant woman. You did that after you said she was trapping me. I hope it was worth it, Derek. I hope she was worth it. She hung up. Month 5 brought the lawsuits. A process server arrived at Brenda's house where Derek was now living. He handed Derek papers. Civil complaint. Ashford versus Coleman. Seeking $5 million for emotional distress, medical costs, and wrongful death. Derek met with his public defender. $5 million? I do not have $5 million. That is the point. The judgment follows you forever. They will garnish 25% of any wages you ever earn. For how long? Until you pay it off or die. Madison got her own lawsuit. $2 million. Charges, conspiracy, aiding and abetting, intentional infliction of emotional distress. She told her parents in their Yakima living room, they are suing me for $2 million. Or her father asked, for what? They say I encouraged Derek to, did you? Madison went silent. Her mother's face fell. Oh, Madison. Phase 3, social destruction. Month 6, the Seattle Times ran a headline. Ashford Industries' Heiress speaks out. He killed my baby and called it love. The article detailed everything. With my permission, the assault, the miscarriage, Madison's role, Derek's unemployment. Public sympathy was 99% pro-Claire. Social media exploded, and hashtag justice for Claire trended on Twitter. TikTok videos, why Claire Ashford is my hero. Reddit threads, Derek Coleman is a monster. Derek's Facebook was flooded with death threats. He had to delete his account. He could not go in public without being recognized. At a grocery store, someone said, "You are that guy, the one who beat his pregnant wife." Derek tried to leave quickly. The stranger called after him, "I hope you rot in jail, you piece of garbage." But on Madison's Instagram, where she had 12,000 followers, was completely destroyed. Every post had comments like, "Home wrecker and accomplice to assault, trash. And you are why women cannot trust women, and hope you never have kids. You do not deserve them." She deleted Instagram, tried to restart under a fake name, got doxxed within 24 hours. Phase 4, the personal touch. Month 7, Derek's plea deal. The prosecutor made an offer. "Mr. Coleman, plead guilty to assault in the second degree, reckless endangerment. You will receive 12 months county jail, suspended, and 3 years probation with 500 hours community service." His public defender said, "It is a good deal. If you go to trial, you are looking at 7 to 10 years. What is the community service? Cleaning and maintenance at Harborview Medical Center. Fine, whatever." The prosecutor added, "Specifically the maternity ward." Derek's face went pale. "You are joking." Victim's request. "You can refuse and go to trial, your choice." Derek paused for a long time. "I will take the deal." Derek's first day of community service, he arrived at Harborview Medical Center in a hospital volunteer vest. A supervisor handed him a mop and bucket. "You will be cleaning patient rooms after discharge, mopping floors, emptying trash, changing linens." "For how long?" 500 hours. That is about 6 months if you do 20 hours a week." Derek entered his first room, just vacated by a new mother. The baby bassinet was still there. Congratulations, balloons, flowers, a photo on the wall, mom, dad, tiny newborn. Derek stared at the photo. He emptied the trash. Inside, diapers, wipes, hospital bracelets. A tiny footprint certificate. His hand shook. Madison's sentence came in month 8. Plea deal, no contest to conspiracy, 3 years probation, 1,000 hours community service. Her assignment? Teaching job skills to domestic violence survivors at a women's shelter. Every day, she faced women who looked like me. They knew who she was. They knew what she did. Her first day, the shelter director said, "Madison, you will be teaching resume building and interview skills to our residents. They know who you are. They know why you are here. If you are not genuine, they will see through it." Madison entered the classroom. 8 women ages 22 to 45, all survivors of domestic abuse. They stared at her with a mixture of curiosity and contempt. One woman said, "You are the one from the news, the mistress." "Yes," Madison said quietly. Another woman asked, "Why should we listen to you?" Madison had no good answer. 1 year after the assault, I sat in my office at Ashford Industries. I was now Chief Operating Officer, reporting directly to my father. My office overlooked the Seattle skyline, including Harborview Medical Center. Marcus entered. "Miss Ashford, you have a visitor, Madison Pierce." I looked up from my laptop. "She requested a meeting?" "Yes, she says it is important. Should I deny her?" I thought for a moment. "No, let her come up." Madison entered. She had aged, no makeup, Target clothes instead of designer brands, humble body language, eyes red from crying. I did not stand, did not offer a handshake. "Madison, what do you want?" She sat without being invited. "I came to apologize." "No, you did not." "I did. You came because you are hoping if you apologize, I will call off the lawyers. I will forgive the debt. I will make it stop. That is not an apology. That is negotiation." Tears started down her face. "That is not fair." "Fair? You want to talk about fair? I never told him to hurt you. I never wanted. You told him I was trapping him. You told him to handle it. You wore his clothes in my apartment like you had already won. You tried to force me to get an abortion. You sent your brother to intimidate me in the hospital. Do not sit there and pretend you are innocent. I was stupid. I was selfish. I wanted him, and I did not care who got hurt. Correct him. So why are you here? Because I am sorry. Really, truly sorry. I leaned back in my chair. Okay, let's say I believe you. Let's say you really are sorry. What do you want me to do about it? Forgive me. No. Please, you do not get forgiveness just because you want it. You get consequences, and you are living them. Madison cried harder. I have lost everything, my job, my apartment, my reputation, my friends. I am 27 years old and I live with my parents. I cannot get a date without men Googling me and finding out what I did. I am going to die alone because of this. Good. She looked shocked. What? You heard me. Good. I want you to wake up every morning and remember that you were one choice away from being happy and you chose cruelty. I want you to see pregnant women on the street and feel what I felt. I want you to grow old, alone, with nothing but your choices to keep you company. That is not revenge. That is justice. Madison stood. Her voice broke. You are a monster. No, a monster kicks pregnant women. I am just someone who will not let it happen again. Madison left, sobbing. Marcus entered after she was gone. That was harsh. Was it? She seemed genuinely sorry. She was sorry she got caught. There is a difference. If I had been a real barista with no resources, she would be Derek's wife right now. They would be laughing about me over dinner. Her regret is conditional. It only exists because I fought back. Marcus nodded. Fair point. Is Derek still doing his community service? Every Saturday. 4 more months to go. Wood, I want to see him. Are you sure? I need to see if I feel anything. That Saturday afternoon, I visited Harborview Medical Center for a foundation event. I had donated $10 million to build a new wing. I saw Derek from a distance. He was mopping floors in the maternity ward hallway. He wore a hospital volunteer vest, orange to indicate court-ordered service. He was thinner, grayer, beaten down. He looked up and saw me. A moment of eye contact. Derek's face showed fear, shame, regret. My face showed nothing. I turned and walked away without a word. A year ago, Derek Coleman was the center of my universe. The sun I orbited around, even when he burned me. Today he was a stranger. Someone I used to know. The moment I felt nothing, no anger, no fear, no hate, that is when I knew I had won. He was erased. Not from existence, but from maturity. And that, ultimately, was the only revenge that mattered. 2 years after the assault, I stood in a downtown Seattle ballroom at the Ashford Industries Charity Gala. I wore an emerald green Valentino gown. At my side was Dr. Nathan Cole, the trauma surgeon who had treated me. We had been dating for 6 months. The relationship was healthy, equal. He gave me space. He respected my boundaries. My father watched us from across the room. He spoke to Marcus. He is good for her. Marcus agreed, better than the last one anyway. My father almost smiled. Low bar. I took the stage as the MC introduced me. Please welcome the founder of the Ashford Center for Survivors, Claire Ashford. I stood at the microphone. Hundreds of faces looked up at me. 2 years ago, I was a victim, not just of violence, but of my own choices. I thought I could escape my name by changing it. I thought I could find authenticity by pretending to be someone else. I was wrong. You cannot run from yourself. But you can grow, you can learn, you can fight back. The Ashford Center is not a shelter. It is an arsenal. We give survivors legal support, financial planning, job training, and most importantly, power. Because the best revenge is not violence, it is thriving. It is waking up happy. It is building a life so good that your abuser becomes a footnote. To every survivor here tonight, you are not broken. You are not weak. You are warriors, and we are here to arm you for the battle ahead. The crowd gave a standing ovation. Later that night, Nathan and I sat in his car. I was exhausted. You were amazing tonight, he said. Thanks, I am exhausted. Too exhausted to talk about something important. I felt nervous. That sounds ominous. Not ominous, just big. He pulled out a small box, not a ring box, bigger. He opened it. Inside was a key. What is this? A key to my house. I want you to move in with me. Tears filled my eyes. Nathan, no pressure, no timeline. But I love you and I want to wake up next to you if you are windy. I am scared. Of what? That I will mess it up. That I will pick wrong at again. You are not picking wrong. You are picking someone who sees you, all of you. The Claire who ran away. The Jenny who survived. The COO who built an empire. I love all of it. I kissed him. Ask me again in 6 months. He smiled. Deal. 18 months later, 3.5 years after the assault, I sat in my bathroom. Nathan and I had moved in together 6 months earlier. I held a pregnancy test in trembling hands. I waited 3 minutes. 2 pink lines. My breath caught. PTSD flashback. Derek saying, "You trapped me." The kick. The miscarriage. I sat on the bathroom floor shaking. Nathan knocked. Claire, you okay? I opened the door and handed him the test. I could not speak. He looked at it, then at me. He knelt down. Hey, look at me. This is good news. This is amazing news, right? I am terrified. Of what? That something will happen. That I will lose it again. That, stop, Claire. You are not with Derek. You are with me, and I promise you I will protect you and this baby with everything I have. You are safe. Do you hear me? You are safe. I collapsed into his arms, sobbing. 9 months later, I was in labor at Harborview Medical Center, the same hospital where I had lost my first baby. Dr. Brennan, the same OB from before, was delivering. Claire, you are doing great. One more push. I was exhausted and scared. I cannot. Nathan coached me. Yes, you can. Come on, baby, one more. I pushed. A baby's cry filled the room. It is a girl, Dr. Brennan said. Is she okay? Is she okay? She is perfect, completely perfect. They placed my daughter on my chest. I looked down at her tiny face. Hi. Hi, baby. I am your mom. Nathan was crying too. She is beautiful. Hope, I whispered. Her name is Hope. 4 years after the assault, I stood outside Groundwork Coffee with baby Hope in her stroller. It was early morning. I looked at the shop where I used to work. A young barista, early 20s, opened the door. She recognized me. Oh my God, you are Claire Ashford. I used to work here years ago. I know, the owner told me. She keeps your name tag in the back office, says you are an inspiration. I was surprised. Really? Yeah, she tells every new hire. Claire Ashford made lattes at this counter. So can you. It is like a legacy. Tears filled my eyes. Can I come in, just for a minute? Of course, I sat in my old corner booth. Hope cooed in my arms. I looked at the menu board. It still had my handwriting from 4 years ago. I had a flashback. Young Derek surprising me here on date 2. My treat, whatever you want. Young Miwei, you do not have to. Young Derek, and I want to. That is what you do for people you love. Now I could see clearly. This was love bombing. Manipulation from day one. The new barista brought me a latte. On the house for a fellow veteran. I did not order. I know, but you look like you needed it. Thank you. They say you cannot go home again. They are right. The girl who worked here, Jenny Mitchell, is gone. She believed in fairy tales. She thought love meant sacrifice. She confused control with care. But I am not her anymore. I am Claire Ashford. Mother, daughter, survivor, COO. And I do not need to go back. Because I finally know where home is. Hope cooed. I looked at my daughter. Yeah, baby, home is you. 1 week later, I stood at a ribbon-cutting ceremony, a massive building, the Ashford Center for Survivors. 6 stories, state-of-the-art. A banner read, "You are not alone. You are not weak. You are a warrior." I was on stage. Hope was in Nathan's arms beside me. My father, Marcus, and Diane sat in the front row. Hundreds of survivors attended. I cut the ribbon with oversized scissors. The crowd cheered. The camera pulled back, showing the scale of the building. The city of Seattle, my family, Nathan, Hope, my father, Marcus, my chosen family. Derek thought he was breaking me. Madison thought she was winning. They were both wrong. They were not breaking me. They were breaking the person I was pretending to be. The real me, the Claire Ashford who closed billion-dollar deals at 24, who stared down boardrooms full of men twice her age. She was just sleeping. All they did was wake her up, and that is the revenge they will never escape. Every success I have, every life I saved through my foundation, every morning I wake up happy with my daughter in my arms. That is the revenge. I did not just survive them, I thrived. I built an empire of second chances, and they are footnotes in a story that was always mine to write. So to every survivor watching this, your story is not over. The people who hurt you do not get to write your ending. You do. And trust me, when you take back your power, when you build a life so beautiful it makes your past look like a bad dream, that is when you have truly won. This is my story. 5 years after the assault, I received an email. The subject line read, "From Derek Coleman." I almost deleted it. But curiosity won. The message was short. "Claire, I know I have no right to contact you. I know sorry will never be enough. But I have completed anger management. I have been in therapy for 3 years. I am working in a warehouse in Tacoma. I will never hurt anyone again. I wanted you to know that. Not for forgiveness, just so you know. Derek." I read it twice. Then I wrote back, "Derek, I am glad you are getting help. I hope you have learned what I learned, that the person you hurt most was yourself. That rage is a poison you drink hoping someone else will die. I have moved on. I suggest you do the same. Do not contact me again. Claire." I hit send, then I blocked his email address. I closed my laptop. Nathan was making dinner in the kitchen. Hope was playing with blocks on the living room floor. Classical music played softly. This was my life now. Peaceful, safe, full. Derek Coleman was a memory. Madison Pierce was a cautionary tale. My father and I had rebuilt our relationship. Marcus remained my protector and friend. Diane had become a mentor. And Hope, my daughter, my miracle, she represented everything they tried to take from me and failed. On Hope's second birthday, we threw a party at our house. 50 guests, balloons, cake, laughter. My father sat on the couch holding Hope. She showed him her new stuffed elephant. He smiled, a real smile, not his usual controlled expression. "Grandpa loves you very much," he told her. Hope giggled and kissed his cheek. I watched from across the room. Nathan put his arm around me. "You did good," he said. "We did good. I have something to tell you." I looked at him. "What?" He pulled a small box from his pocket. This time it was a ring box. My heart stopped. He opened it. A simple diamond ring, beautiful. "Claire Ashford, I know you do not need anyone. You are the strongest person I have ever met, but I want to spend my life with you anyway. Will you marry me?" Tears streamed down my face. Us. "Yes, yes, of course, yes." He slid the ring onto my finger. Everyone in the room applauded. Hope clapped her little hands, not understanding but sensing joy. My father wiped his eyes. Marcus nodded approval. Diane raised her champagne glass. 6 months later, Nathan and I got married. Small ceremony, close friends and family only. Hope was our flower girl. She toddled down the aisle, dropping petals everywhere. My father walked me down the aisle, but before we reached Nathan, he stopped. "I am proud of you," he whispered. I squeezed his hand. "I know. Your mother would be proud too." "I hope so." "She is. I am sure of it." He kissed my forehead. Then he handed me to Nathan. The officiant asked, "Who gives this woman to be married?" My father said, "She gives herself, but I support her choice." That night after the reception, Nathan and I stood on the balcony of our hotel room. Hope was asleep in the adjoining room with a babysitter. "I never thought I would get here," I said. "After everything that happened, I thought I was broken forever." Nathan held me. "You were never broken. You were healing. There is a difference, Bifien. Broken things do not grow. You grew. You built a foundation. You started a family. You learned to trust again. That is not broken. That is resilient." I leaned into him. "I love you. I love you too. We stood there in comfortable silence, looking at the city lights, the same city where 5 years ago I had nearly died in an alley, the same city where I had lost my first baby, the same city where I had been reborn. Seattle would always hold ghosts for me, but they were just ghosts. They had no power anymore. 7 years after the assault, I sat in my office at Ashford Industries. I was now CEO. My father had retired, finally trusting me to run the company he had built. Diane called. "Claire, I have news. Derek Coleman was arrested." My stomach tightened. For what? Bar fight in Tacoma. He broke someone's nose. The guy called him a woman beater. Derek snapped. "Is he going to jail?" "Probably. Assault in the first degree. Violation of probation. He is looking at real time now. Maybe 5 years. I felt nothing. Okay? Okay? That is it? What do you want me to say? That I am glad? I am not. I am just done caring. That is growth, Claire. That's it. Yes, indifference is the opposite of love. And hate. You have reached true indifference. That is the final stage. After I hung up, I sat at my desk. I looked at the photo of Nathan and Hope on my desk. Hope was 3 now, smart, funny, kind. She would never know what I had been through. I would protect her from that. But when she was older, I would tell her. I would tell her that bad things happen to good people. That survival is not about being unbreakable. It is about being willing to rebuild. On the 10th anniversary of the assault, I did something I had never done. I visited the alley where Derek attacked me. It looked smaller than I remembered. Cleaner. Just an alley. Nothing special. I stood in the spot where I had curled on the ground, protecting my stomach, where my blood had stained the pavement, where my life had nearly ended. "I survived," I said out loud. "You did not break me." I closed my eyes, said goodbye to Jenny Mitchell, said goodbye to the terrified girl who thought love meant suffering, said goodbye to the woman who believed she was not worthy of happiness. Then I walked away. I went home to Nathan, to Hope, to the life I had built from ashes. This story is dedicated to the 1 in 4 women who experience domestic violence. You are not alone. You are not weak. You are a survivor. And your story is not over. The people who hurt you do not get to write your ending. You do. Take back your power. Build a life so beautiful it makes your past look like a bad dream, because that is when you have truly won. National Domestic Violence Hotline, 1-800-79-97233.